Good afternoon. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast, netnewsnetwork.net. We're going to talk about volunteering. I've volunteered almost my entire life, and I'll just have to tell you, you feel good about yourself when you volunteer, and there are so many things you can volunteer for. It can be a disaster, it can be, maybe someone in your community needs help. It could be someone maybe lost their house in a fire, and you want to help them to be able to pick the pieces back up and start a new home all over again. It could be in your local hospice, it could be in a hospital. So many different reasons that you can volunteer. But we're going to talk about all the many different benefits of volunteering. When I get through with this today, you're going to want to go out and find someone to volunteer for. But let's look at this quick video.
What is volunteering, and how can you make it work for you? From skilled to virtual volunteering and everything in between, there are many ways to volunteer. Simply put, volunteering is time willingly given for the common good and without financial gain. There are many ways to volunteer that cover all types of areas in our community, like fundraising for the homeless, caring for the elderly, helping at your local football club, or developing a web page. So where do you begin? Sometimes people just fall into volunteering, but mostly people make a conscious decision to volunteer, and then they face the challenge of how to start. Maybe it's best to start with, why should you volunteer? Not only does volunteering provide substantial benefit to the community, it also provides significant benefits to you. Did you know that volunteers are happier, healthier, and sleep better than those who don't volunteer? And that sustained volunteering is associated with better mental health. So volunteering is good for you. You meet new people, gain a better sense of what is happening in the world, and it can also be heaps of fun. Volunteering can also improve your skills and chances of landing that dream job. Over 85% of HR managers look for volunteering on resumes. And volunteering is a great way to gain that much talked about work experience. An estimated 43.7% of Australian adults volunteered a total of 923 million hours in 2016. Surely that many people can't be wrong. There is also no typical volunteer. From young people to older people, it takes all types. So now you know some of the benefits to volunteering. What now? How can you get involved? Decide why, how, and what you would like to contribute to the community. Think about your skills and interests, availability and values. Look, explore online, speak with friends, ask around, or contact your local volunteer resource service. And then apply. When volunteering, there are things you should know. Organisations have a duty of care to protect volunteers from harm. Unlike paid staff, volunteers are not covered by conditions of employment. However, they do have rights and responsibilities. Some of the things volunteers have the right to include to work in a safe environment, be covered by insurance, receive training and relevant information, be recognised and respected as a valued team member. Some of the things volunteers are responsible for include being reliable and notifying the organisation of changes to availability, abiding by policies and procedures and meeting commitments, respecting the rights and privacy of others. Volunteering may surprise you. There are a wide variety of fields and organisations that involve volunteers. You are only limited by your imagination. So, change your world and start today. For more information or to get support to explore volunteer roles, visit www.volunteersofdaniel.org.au.
Created using Powtoon.
Fabulous information right there. So why volunteer? So I found a really good article, and this is through readersdigest.com, abbreviated rd.com. Some great information out there about volunteering. Like I told you, I've been doing this for years, and I've met so many wonderful people by volunteering. It's a great way to meet friends. Well, let's talk about this one. It is a great way to connect and meet friends. So the article says, once you've graduated from school, it gets harder to meet new people with every flip of the calendar. After a couple of pandemic years, we'd all like to forget, we weren't able to connect with our buddies as often. And thank God we're through all of that stuff. we weren't able to connect with our buddies, and it's as easily as we were used to. So having meaningful social connections is really important. Volunteering puts you in a setting surrounded by new people full of goodwill. You're going to meet people. The best of the best are the people who volunteer. A study in the Journal of Innovation in Aging found that older adults who volunteer have more friends, and they spend time with them more often. Introverts, intimidated by the prospect of meeting new people, will take heart by knowing that one of the great benefits of volunteering is finding comfort in talking to strangers. It'll get you out of that rut. I mean, it most certainly will. Think about this too. Let's say you're new in town. In my area, we are growing leaps and bounds. Notedly in Albertville, Alabama, every time you pass through there, there's a new construction going up with a new business. People are coming into the area, and wow, you're new to the area and you know absolutely no one. So, I mean, what's that all about? How am I going to meet new people? Volunteer. And this is something else. I grew up in Oxford, Alabama, and this is back when Fort McClellan was operating before it was closed down. And I used to find I would meet people all the time whose spouses were in the military. And so, it was hard for them to meet people because people would say, well, you're only going to be here a couple of years. And so when I started my own employment office, Snelling Personnel Services, I loved people who were moving into town and people whose maybe their spouses were military, because what I loved about that is, first of all, they were so anxious to get a job and they were the best workers out there. So I would have some businesses who would say they were looking for maybe a receptionist, and I would tell them about someone who had really, really good skills. And then I would also mention that their spouses were military. So some of the responses I got from that were, well, they're not going to be in town long and that kind of thing. And so my next question to the employer would be, well, how often does someone actually stay on a job in your company? And they would say, oh, a good couple of years. And I would say, you know what, a good couple of years, and you're going to get a military spouse who's going to be by your side forever. They're going to be so gracious that you gave them the opportunity, even if it is only for a couple of years. You got a great employee for 2 years. So it's just a great way to meet people. You may find your next employer. So again, if you're moving into town for a fresh new area, you know no one, go ahead and volunteer for somebody, and I promise you, you're gonna get a lot out of that. Number 2, it makes you happier. I gotta say, it really does. Volunteering will make you happier. Volunteering boosts a feeling of well-being, and how does it do that? Research has shown that when we do something for others, it brings them comfort and support. Our brains produce more of what is called the happiness hormones. And this is Trish Lockard. She's a volunteer for the National Alliance on Mental Illness and co-author of Make a Difference with Mental Health Activism. She says there's even a term for this feeling. It's called helper's high. You really do. You feel so good. People who aren't terribly happy in the first place may benefit from volunteering most of all. A study in the Journal of Economic Psychology found that people who started out feeling down may get even a bigger mental boost from volunteering than people who already had a positive attitude. Number 3, it does reduce loneliness. So you may think you're happier at home than away, but social distancing left millions of Americans exposed to more isolation than anyone would have ever thought possible. And lacking human connection doesn't just make us feel weary or alone. It can also flood the body with cortisol, the hormone that closely links with feeling stressed out, says Lockard. Then there's the benefits of volunteering that can come into play. Social engagement promotes a more connected mental outlook, says Lockard. And beyond that, it puts you in the path of people who long to hang out with others as well. So participating in a shared activity brings people closer together. Plus, getting out of the house and getting more exercise are both beneficial for your state of mind. And there's so many ways that you can volunteer with a company. I'll use Shepherd's Cove Hospice as a real good example of that. So some people volunteer in the nursing practicability of it. Okay, maybe you have a nursing background and you would like to go in and help some folks who are possibly passing away from because they've been brought into a hospice situation. And other ways you can volunteer, let's just say you really don't like that part of it, well, then you can volunteer in a thrift store. They have a thrift store, which is really super awesome. So you can volunteer that way. If you like being organized and you like moving things around in a store, you can do that. If you like putting tags on stuff, you can do that. If you like checking folks out, you can do that. The possibilities are just endless of what you can do in the store. And then there's the possibility of volunteering to sit with a patient. You can do that as well. Maybe sitting around talking with folks, talking about what their life was like. Folks like talking about what their life was like, especially when they're at the end of their life. You can also volunteer by bringing food. That's also a good thing to do. You can do that in a number of ways. There are a lot of clothes closets that you can help volunteer by bringing your own clothes. You can do that as well. Maybe you could be in the form of maybe repurposing things for resale. That can also help a situation in a hospice-like thrift store. Yeah, all kinds of things you can do. So, it's all out there. Number 4, it keeps you physically healthy. Not only your mental well-being that gets supercharged when you take the time to help other folks, but your heart can reap big rewards for it too. According to research from Carnegie Mellon University, older adults who volunteer at least 200 hours per year decrease their risk of hypertension or high blood pressure by as much as 40%. And that's not having to take any kind of medicine. And blood pressure isn't the only heart health factor that improves. A study from the University of Massachusetts in Boston found that those who volunteer are less likely to have other common markers of heart disease, such as belly fat and elevated blood glucose levels. The benefits of volunteering go beyond your ticker right there. A study from the University of Kentucky found that volunteering can also lessen symptoms of chronic pain. It takes your mind away from it, I would think, is why it does that. Okay, let's go on ahead and cut into a commercial break. We'll be right back shortly. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for 2 or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Okay, we are back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and don't forget that podcast down there, netnewsnetwork.net. We are back. We're talking about volunteering. Why should you volunteer? We came up with quite a few reasons, but there's some new ones right here as well. It can teach you new job skills. Yeah, let's dig in. So the hands-on experience you gain while volunteering, whether you're working in a soup kitchen, gardening in your community, or answering calls on a hotline, can help you learn new skills. It can also help you build on the ones you already have, and even help you learn how to set new goals. Volunteering is a great way for people who want a career change. As a matter of fact, says this author, how often in the corporate world does someone with decades of experience directly share their know-how with a complete novice? So, volunteer training can also help guide you to what you want to do in your next career move. And so the author of this says, I work with a lot of volunteers who didn't like the cubicle and just simply wanted to be outdoors. Absolutely. You know, you can use some new computer skills. Another thing I thought about volunteering as well, and I'll use Shepherd's Cove again for another good example about that. You know, they also have a website and they also have a Facebook page. So if you would like to volunteer, that would be an awesome thing to volunteer for as well. You can hone up on those computer skills. Maybe you can learn from someone else and find out what they're doing with the internet and with Facebook that just might help you with your business as well. So it's just a great way. Now, it also helps you live longer. This is number 6. Are there any other better benefits of volunteering than helping a happier, longer life? It's hard to imagine what it might be, but taking time to help others has a significant impact on your longevity. In a study of adults over age 55 published in the journal Psychology and Aging, volunteering reduced mortality risk by 47%. That's something to be grateful for. How about volunteering led to a decrease in the likelihood of dying prematurely? There are several theories there. The leading contender of which posits that the mood-boosting benefits of volunteering help lower stress, decreasing the risk of heart disease and even cancer. You know what number 7 can also do? Get you out of your comfort zone. How often are you in this little box and you don't know how to get out of it? Maybe you had a death in your family, or maybe you're an empty nester now. You don't know what to do with yourself. Maybe you had a divorce. You don't know what to do with yourself. Okay, so like a much needed digital detox, volunteering can shift you out of your usual routine and encourage you to try new things. It can also help force you to solve problems that require you to think on your feet, or put you in a situation or an environment you haven't experienced before. Sound intimidating? Shouldn't. Someone right next to you at one point knew little or less than you do, he says. Now, why is that important? And the lessons learned from the new experiences you collect while volunteering can be even more rewarding than gaining skills and training on an actual job. In the workforce, everyone is trying to show that they are the best and the smartest. But with volunteering, everyone just wants to be helpful. When everyone can pull the rope in the same direction, it's absolutely amazing what can happen. So let's think about this. You're thinking about trying out for a little bit later on. Maybe you've been with the kids, they're all in school, you're looking for something else to do, and you're thinking about, I think I'd be a good manager, because what is a mother? A stay-at-home mom could be the best manager ever. All the skills that they have taken in while they've been at home. So you haven't worked anywhere in a while, volunteer. And you think that's not a whole lot, but it really is. You need to jot this stuff down on your resume as well. Everything you did while you were volunteering for a year or two. And this is another thing, is people love to hire people who have volunteered, because that shows that you're not in it just for yourself. You're a team player and you like to help others. That's why companies love hiring people who've been volunteering. Okay, another thing that can do is keep your brain healthy. We all need that. We already know that volunteering makes your heart happy, and it also makes your mood more upbeat, but it's also an important impact on your cognitive skills and the risk for dementia. A 5-year study published in the Journal of PLOS One, that's PLOSONE, found that seniors who volunteered consistently reported a decrease in their cognitive complaints over time, whereas no such associations were found for the other groups. Keeping your brain active with new activities helps keep it sharp. In addition, the steady volunteers were nearly 2.5 times less likely to be prescribed an anti-dementia treatment than those who didn't make the time to help others. It also gives you a sense of purpose. I mean, everybody has to have a sense of purpose. In times when you feel lost, volunteering can help give you a sense of purpose. Dedicating time to a cause can give you a new direction and allow you to find meaning in something unexpected, says Lockhart. It's also an excellent way to learn how to practice gratitude, or to start a gratitude journal. The nights after I taught class, says the author, led a support group meeting, or gave an interview to the local newspaper were the nights I felt most balanced and fulfilled. Knowing I'm making a difference to any degree is the greatest feeling in the world. I definitely agree with that. How to choose the right volunteer opportunity? I mean, that's a good question right there. So the secret to being effective and happy in your volunteer work, and for staying with it for a long time, is how well matched the work is to your interests, skills, and talents. Try these tips from Terry Lyon, Lockhart's co-author and writer of What's on Your Sign. how to focus your passion and change the world to help you create your own ideal activism opportunity. Number 1, find your greatest passion by creating a vision board for how you want to change the world. Number 2, identify the unique gifts, talents, skills, and experiences you can bring to this activism. Craft a unique activism opportunity ideally suited to you by combining your passion with your gifts. Number 4, monitor your long-term effectiveness. And number 5, stay motivated and learn how to avoid burnout. You got to be really careful there too, because some folks like to volunteer for everything that comes up. You got to be careful not to burn out. Now, where to volunteer? So we've mentioned that the best place for you to volunteer depends on your personal interest. Love too many things and not sure where to start? That would be me. Here are 5 creative ways to donate your time. You can support America's National Parks. That's number 1 right there. From coast to coast, America's National Parks provide a haven for wildlife and boundless adventures for people. Many national parks even have volunteering opportunities specifically geared towards children. You can learn more about these types of volunteer opportunities by going to the National Park Foundation's websites or through National Park Service. Bonus, being in nature can also help you find moments of joy in the day and lead a happier life. Okay, here's another one. Ease loneliness in the elderly. Seniors often spend much of their time alone, particularly if they're retired, widowed, have mobility issues, or don't have family in the area. So human beings thrive on connection. You can visit seniors in an assisted living facility or in hospice centers through groups. Or you can contact facilities in your area. Give cuddles to the newborns. It's a great place. That would be the perfect place right there for me to volunteer, at a hospital where babies are born. Holding, cuddling, singing to, and speaking to drug-addicted babies helps them recover more quickly. Volunteer initiatives known as Cuddle Care have sprung up nationwide, and they require some training. So Uplift has go Google Uplift, has a list of hospitals that participate, but you can also reach out to local hospitals that have an intensive care unit that's in ICU. This is especially for babies, or search online for local cuddle care opportunities. You know something else? You can also protect ocean wildlife. You like the water? That's a good one. Plastic bottles, bags, cans, and assorted debris eventually wind up in the ocean, and they're killing fish, birds, and mammals who think they're food. You can make a difference by volunteering to clean up rivers and oceans. And Google this. It's called the Ocean Conservancy Efforts. Join a neighborhood cleanup campaign and start your own. And then we'll talk about this one, then we'll have to call it a day. You can volunteer virtually. I didn't know that. So prefer to volunteer without leaving your home. Volunteer Match. Google that. Volunteer Match has more than 6,000 virtual volunteer opportunities that you can do from anywhere, including blogging about vegetarian recipes for a sustainable nonprofit, translating Spanish, and becoming a crisis center line volunteer who provide relief to people dealing with bullying or with trauma. Volunteer. That's the way to go at it. You don't have a job right now? Volunteer. Because the employer that you are interviewing with is going to ask what you did if you weren't working during a particular time. Volunteer. And the question that I've been asked most about volunteering, if you're drawing unemployment, you can still volunteer while you're drawing your unemployment. It's not going to hurt that at all because you're not making a living there. Okay? But you are helping. Thank you again so much for watching The Edge. My name is Donna, and I'm looking forward to the very next show with you as well. So you take care.